Good afternoon and welcome to Waking Up from the Slumber, Dr. Monica Gelati. Before we start the session, we'll have a moment's silence, please. So greetings everyone and welcome. So today's workshop, facilitated by Dr. Monica Gelati, is a very special one, and it looks at basically the process of awakening our consciousness. So the aim of this workshop is to awaken you, awaken your consciousness, and make you alive and feel dynamic and richer in your true life purpose. Now, Dr. Monica Gelati is an immunologist by background. She trained at the University in Zurich, got her PhD, but she soon found that science wasn't really her thing. And she felt the calling of the spiritual life, particularly after she underwent cancer. And what she's done since then is quite incredible, really. She's a teacher by example, and a true warrior. And her online sessions are a joy to behold. And I'm really looking forward to this one. The first session is about recognizing our sleep. So those
So I think I'll take it forward from here. Something happened at James' end. Thank you, James, for the generous introduction. Yeah, I think you're there in the spirit, but not here. Yeah, so yeah, it would be nice if we can all switch on the video for a while. Good to see you, Ekta, and Shri Devi was here also. Yeah.
Monica, I have some issues with internet too, so I think I'll just keep the video off.
Okay, perfect.
But I will be, yeah,
if possible, if we can keep the videos on for a while for a bit of interaction, and then if we are uncomfortable or if we want to switch it off, we can switch it off. Yeah. So I would like to begin with a aspiration that why are we walking on this path at all, the spiritual path or the path of awakening as we call it. Why must we walk on it at all? So there is a beautiful aspiration which I have earlier also shared in my workshops. It comes from like many centuries ago. Shanti Deva, a Buddhist teacher, he gave this aspiration. And if one of us could read it out aloud for all of us, it would be really nice. If one of you can unmute, yeah, Shamlaji, if you want to read it out for all of us, sure. This aspiration, yeah, please.
May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings. May I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened.
Thank you so much. So with this, we begin our practice for today, or the reflections for today, keeping in mind that why are we doing this at all? What is the need to walk the spiritual path at all? And with this, we begin with the topic for today, which is waking up from our sleep or slumber. So would anyone want to share what do you mean at the moment, because you have enrolled for the workshop and you may have a bit of understanding of what do we mean by I am sleeping, on a spiritual path or even in human life. When do we consider us asleep, and what is waking up? So if one of you or a couple of you would like to share their reflections on that, it would be really nice to hear. Any reflections at the moment? Are we sleeping?
Uh, uh, I,
Yes,
I
Shamil.
think I think so, because see, sleep is nothing but we have to wake up again. Okay, first thing. But sometimes we don't want to do anything, and we'll go and we'll hide behind sleep. I mean, okay, procrastination, whatever you can say. So as far as I am concerned, I have joined this because I think I want to do something, but every time I'll start on the path, and the next day or in couple of days I'll go back, and okay, the postponement will be happening. So there is a frustration, or I have to do something, I'm not doing it, and how to overcome it, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I'm going into sleep again. So I want to overcome it, and I don't know how to do it, although I have that desire. So for me, it's like knowingly going into uh, the, what is not in the spiritual path, against it. What I mean, I think.
So you
Thank
mean
you.
to say that there is something important that you want to attend to in your life, but you are not able to because the routine drowns you down, right?
Yes,
Something
yeah.
like that. Okay. Okay.
And laziness also we can say. Even
Laziness.
though I get time,
Hmm.
somehow I feel like, okay, tomorrow maybe we can go for it.
Hmm.
Like, okay, reading, but it won't be in the practical
Hmm. Yeah.
way. So I
Yeah.
think, thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for sharing this. Yeah, anyone else? That was good to hear. Anyone else wants to share? Ekta ji, you are smiling. I think you have something to share, maybe. Yeah.
No, I think I completely agree with Shamla. I think, you know, sometimes we pretend we don't know what we need to do because it takes too much courage, or it takes a lot of energy that we sometimes hide within our comfort zones. But somewhere in your heart, you know that there is something that's waiting to be done, and you're the only one who can do it. But life becomes comfortable, or your routine becomes comfortable, your relationships, your responsibilities. You kind of use them as a kind of an armor to not do that thing that you're supposed to be doing. And I think that's one of the reasons I was attracted to this course. It was a very by chance I happened to read the email and I happened to open it, and I think I needed to hear what you're going to say today. So
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, anyone else? Sophie, would you like to share something?
Yes. I
Yeah.
feel a bit like Shyamala, where there's a lot of reading. It's like an intellectual quest, but then when it comes down to the practice, or I'm just overwhelmed by like pages and the pages, and so that's it.
Yeah, totally with you. Yes. Yes. And that is one of the reasons that today I would not be sharing much texts with you, because I have been on this path myself for a long time, and I think that one thing which I also lagged and still lack in is the practice. We have so much of scriptures, we have like tons of books on my table, but where is the practice part? Where is the practical thing? So we will focus on the practice today. I hope that we can make it a integral part of our life. So before I begin to share anything, anyone wants to share further? Lata is here, Julie, Sridevi ji, Jasmine, Venugopal. Anyone who wants to share their reflections on what we are discussing today? On what is sleep and what is waking up? So there is a comment from Julie. Sometimes it is the body or the mind that doesn't want to follow. Yeah. So something or the other is there, which according to us feels like an obstacle, like maybe inertia or laziness, as Shamla ji was sharing. Some resistance in the being, although a part of the being knows that there is something that we have to follow, like an inner call or something, but you are not attending to it. So that is coming up again and again. Yeah. Great. So I would like to play for us a teaching, if that is okay, to know what does it mean by sleep. And it also comes in words of Mother in Sri Aurobindo, where Mother says that we have to constantly disidentify from the surface phenomenon. Surface phenomenon is thoughts, feelings, bodily sense perceptions, ideas, beliefs, notions, dogmas, everything that comes and goes is surface phenomenon. So Mother says that we have to constantly disengage from that. How do I disengage? Usually I am like this with my thoughts, feelings and sensations. I am my thoughts, I am my feelings. So Mother says you have to disengage. Like this has to happen. I have to become conscious of the inner movements. So let us listen to this teaching first, where maybe it becomes a bit clear on understanding the surface phenomenon. Just a second. Yeah.
So, mostly, people, all of us, are living at the very surface of our mind, right? We are living on the waves of the ocean, up and down, up and down, up and down, very surface, caught always in our chatter, 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 endless, like having a television on that you can never turn off in your head. Endlessly going on, all the commercials and all the endless soap operas and all the, all nonsense is on anybody's television. It's all in our head. Blah, 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 blah. The sad bits and the happy bits and all the memories and all the hopes and fears. Blah, 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 blah. Can't turn it off. But there's another level. Our mindfulness. The ability to observe that without being drawn into it, right? So in the shamatha practice and in the vipassana practices, we're honing that skill to be able to observe and witness the mind without being drawn into the mind, just seeing thoughts and emotions as thoughts and emotions, not me, not mine, just. So that's already a huge step forward, right? We had the chattery TV mind is just the gross mind, and there's the ability to observe that, which is a more subtle level of mind, mindfulness, right? Nowadays, mindfulness is the big thing, and it's good. I mean, people say ordinary people shouldn't be taught mindfulness because they don't know it's Buddhist. Who cares? If we are able to help people to disassociate skillfully from their thoughts and their emotions, and just to recognize thoughts and emotions as just thoughts and emotions, so that we are more in control of our mind instead of being controlled by our mind, then that's a good thing. Even just that. I mean, the ego, which is the conceptual thinking mind, is a terrible master, but it's a good servant. We're not trying to stop thinking. Thinking is a brilliant thing. We're not trying to end up blank. But we should be in control of the mind rather than controlled by it.
So was that clear? Yeah. So usually we, as she was sharing, we live too identified with our thoughts and feelings. This is an observation for all of us. All the time we are just submerged in thinking, submerged, completely immersed. And on the top of it, we take all of that to be real. That's the issue. So for example, if a cup broke in front of me, I'm not able to just look at the breaking of the cup just like that, simply, okay, a cup broke, now I have to clean up. But the story associated with the cup breaking, right? So that fills up my mind and I take that as real, the story in the head. I hold on to it too tightly, too intensely. And that gives me a lot of burden, a lot of stress. So when we say that we are sleeping, it just, in simple words, it also means that whatever the mind interprets of the inputs that are coming from my senses, what I am looking at, what I am hearing, what I am thinking, whatever interpretations are going on, I'm just taking it too seriously. I'm just believing it in it too tightly. That what I think is true. And that is what we call my ego. That what I think is true. And just like that, like me, the other person says no, but what I think is true. So we are all living in our own stories about reality. And none of the stories is true. Isn't that amazing? So the nations are at war, families are at war, people within the families are at war. Why? Because we just believe too tightly in our stories. We are not ready to accept that what am I thinking is not true. So this is where, if we have suffered enough, I again and again in my workshops talk of suffering enough. If I have suffered enough, too tightly believing in my stories, now I will be ready to receive, to be open, that yes, I can be wrong. I know that I can be wrong. I know that I am holding too tightly to my stories, and I don't have to. Because it makes me suffer, it makes the other person suffer. So my sleep makes me suffer and makes the other person also suffer. It's a very good thing actually if the sleep is making me suffer, because many a times the sleep does not make me suffer. You may have, many a times we are in very pleasant dreams. Who wants to wake up when things are okay in life? Nobody wants to wake up. But when it is a nightmarish dream, then oh my god, the pain is too intense and I think I must be dreaming, this cannot be true, right? And then that wakes me up when I recognize that oh my god, this is too painful, this can't be life, this has to be dream. So we are compelled to wake up. And that's why Mother and Sri Aurobindo say that suffering or pain is a beautiful blessing, because it allows me to wake up to who we truly are. And as some of you were sharing, each one has something to contribute in this life, which only you can do, Mother says. So what Ekta is born for, only Ekta can do. What Shamala ji is born for, only Shamala ji can do. When will we begin to open up to that inner call? So it's beautiful that life is giving us trouble, because there are other people also whose life is not giving them trouble, and they would not care to even receive something from somewhere that, hey guy, you may be sleeping, because they would say, "Arey, theek to chal raha hai, everything is okay. Why do you say, I'm sleeping? I'm perfectly fine." So unless a disease wakes me up, unless a big pain and trauma and tragedy in my life wakes me up, I'm not receptive enough to see that I'm sleeping. And I'm sleeping to my true self. We don't know who we truly are. We are all enlightened beings, living like beggars. How sad. How sad. So this is the basic premise, that we are living too identified with our thoughts and feelings. And the first step in waking up is to know that I am sleeping. That yes, I do get identified with my thoughts. Yes, I cling too tightly to my feelings. They become too overwhelming. So we'll do a little practice now, if all of us are okay with that. With a pen and paper, if we can keep it handy. And for a few moments, we'll just bring the mind home to the breath. Bring the mind home to the body, the rising and falling of the tummy, or the sensation of in-breath, out-breath. Bringing the mind again and again to the breath and the body. And in between, the mind will wander away. We don't have to get bothered because of that. The mind is restless, it will wander away. We will note down our thoughts. And if the mind gives a thought that, oh, I have no thought, that is also a thought. So we will write it down. So with a pen and paper, I will be here with me, bringing mind attention back to the body and breath. And in between, anything that you notice and observe in your thoughts and feelings, you write it down. So this we are going to do for 5 minutes. Very simple, nothing complicated here. If there is any confusion, please feel free to ask. So we'll just, like a vigilant guard, we'll notice our thoughts and feelings. And while noticing, we'll write them down. You can use shorthand for that. Anything, shortly write down whatever is going on. So like a guard sitting at the fence, whatever is the visitor that comes in, you write his name down. Whatever thought is coming, you write it down. And let the anchor be the anchor of breath for a while. If you notice any physical sensation in the body, that also you can write down. Be a good guard. Don't sleep. All the visitors are under your eye. Any thought about your own self, any image about yourself, you can write it down. Whatever comes up is noted. Nothing escapes your eye. Last 1 minute. As if the body is your palace and you are fully there with the body as a guard. Every visitor enters your register. Yeah. So this is to give us a taste of how to bring the mind home and how to do our job. Because since it is about sleeping, we don't have to be like a drunk guard. You know, what will be the condition of a palace if the guard there is drunk? He's always sleeping. And all the visitors, all the strangers, they just enter because there is no guard. The guard is asleep. He's always found drunk. It'll be a bad condition, sad condition. So Saint Kabir, in his many couplets and songs, he uses this analogy that why are you sleeping like a drunk guard? Every wild animal comes and spoils your crop. Why? Because the guard is not there. It's always drunk. And when he says drunk, it means that I am so lost in my thoughts, in the forest of my thoughts, so lost that the mind is not home in the body. Now the body is the fortress, the body is the palace. And if the guard is not in the palace, we very well know what is the condition that the palace would be found at. And that is what gives rise to so many diseases. Because there is no one to nurture the home, there is no one to nurture and take care of the palace. So we land up, suddenly we realize, oh my God, I have grade 3 of some terminal illness. Where was I? All when the disease were developing, where was I? Grade 1 must have developed, grade 2 must have gone in, but I was not aware. So we have to bring, it's very simple practice. You don't have to read any scripture for this. Bring the mind home to the body. The body is alone, it's abandoned. It needs a friend. And mind consciousness, being consciously with the body, being aware, attentive. We bring the consciousness back in the body. Like you're seated. The king is now seated in the throne. Now nothing can happen. Now whatever past has been accumulated, all the diseases, now they can be taken care of. With the king seated back in his throne. But it's very easy to forget. Because the instruction is so simple. Now what have I shared? I have just shared, bring the mind home to the body and breath. But it's very easy to forget. Now, if I would give you 10 difficult steps, then maybe the mind gets busy. Oh yes, I have to, mark, check 1, check 2, check 3. But since it is so simple an instruction, the mind forgets it. It ignores. And when it ignores, we forget. We fall back into sleep unconsciously. So, knowing that we are all forgetful, and all of us are forgetful, including me, everyone, the only thing that I have to do is remind myself. That's why the stress on remembrance. In other traditions, they call it sumiran. Sumiran, remembrance. Remember to come back to your breath. Remember who you truly are. It's very simple. And the mind can actually get boggled here. That, oh my God, nothing is going to happen with this simple instruction, right? But just stay with it and you will see the benefit of it, right? Now, as I'm sharing that stay with it, but you will not be able to stay with it. Glitter will call you. Thoughts in the mind will call you and they will say, oh, I'm so glittery and juicy, come to me. Thoughts of your past, thoughts of your relationships, thoughts of your plans of future and present happenings. They will call you, they will attract you. Like, if you're going from a bazaar, in the middle of the bazaar you are going. Now, you don't really are interested in anything. You have all the things at home. But the sarees look so attractive. The chudis, the decorative elements are so attractive. So you are pulled towards that vendor. So just like that, when you are trying to bring your mind back home, you will be enchanted by the thoughts. They will be trying to attract you. Come to me, come to me. I am promising you something. Now that is our test. What will you do? And that's why again I come to the importance of suffering. Haven't you bought in those thoughts enough? Haven't you been attracted by those glitter of those stories enough? Haven't you? Ask yourself, haven't I? If you say no, and if you have still some enchantment towards that story, that no, kuch to milega wahan se, something I will get from that story, then I can't stop you. You will have to go through the suffering. But if one of us here at least, or a few of us, are ready to believe that I don't want to go into those stories, no matter how much glittery they may appear, because I have suffered enough. I know that they look so promising, but there is nothing there I'm going to get. Then you will be able to bring your mind to the breath. So this is the importance of tasting suffering. Yeah, and this is a word that I want to give away to everyone to reflect today is disenchantment. Without getting disenchanted, write it down for yourself, disenchantment. In Hindi, we call it udasinta. For those of us who have a taste for Hindi, udasinta, that You have no interest whatsoever in the worldly things, which include relationships and people. It's not that you are bored with them. No. You know that they cannot give you lasting happiness. Now you know this. After having lived a life of 30, 40, 50 years old, now you know that no, I can't trust anyone for my lasting happiness. I have done that enough, I have suffered enough. Because every time I make anything my ground, it is taken away. I try to make my spouse my ground, he doesn't listen. I try to make my children my ground, they have their own world. I try to make a country my ground, oh, doesn't help. So anything of this material manifestation which I want to hold as my ground, I will be sooner or later disappointed. So I cannot have a ground anywhere. This is what we call disenchanted from the world. Knowing truly the nature of this fleeting world, which is impermanence. Things come and go. Relationships come and go. Relationships change. A person who used to give you so much of importance, now he doesn't care about you. So things change. Now you cannot be after his life that, oh, you gave me so much of importance. Now, why have you changed? You can't. You can't, because the nature of material is change. So if we have gotten disenchanted from the world, that yes, it is the nature of things to change, and hence I cannot hold anything as my stable ground, then I will be able to bring my mind home to breath. Then I am ready to anchor myself in the breath. Because why am I anchoring myself in the breath? Because as long as you are there, the breath is with you. People will change, relationships will change, siblings will come and go, parents will come and go, you will change grounds and countries. Breath is not going as long as you are here. So breath is the link with our consciousness. And it's most easily available. Body and breath, they're most easily available. Like if I have to, imagine that I want to use music as centering of the mind. Music may or not all the time may be available. Right? Maybe I am in a jail or a prison, just like Sri Aurobindo was. Now no music available, what will I do? But breath is available, body is available. So with breath and body, I can bring the monkey mind to a anchor, stilling the mind. So I'll take a pause here and see if things are clear, and then take it forward from there. Any reflections so far? Any questions? Yeah, please go ahead, Ekta.
So when you talk about, when we talk about relationships, sometimes we not just identify with our roles as a mother or as a daughter, whatever. But like you said, there is a certain kind of pleasure we get in making plans and dreams and ambitions for our children or whatever it is, It's attractive. You're right. It's attractive. But I wonder how we can not do that. I mean, how do you move ahead if you don't have something to move ahead towards? And like, what do you do then if you're not making plans and if you're not working towards those plans? And we all have, of course, day-to-day work to do, but besides the day-to-day work, we need to have the next goal, right? I mean, so how do you distinguish between the goals which are good for you versus the goals that may not be, may not serve you.
Lovely. Yeah. Yes. So there is, we don't have to abandon our plans or planning. By all means, go ahead with all the plans that you have. So there is nothing right or wrong here in that sense. The thing that we have to work upon here is our clinginess to those plans. That if it doesn't work, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Right? As Mother suggests, that our journey as a human being is from desiring self, like a sticky self, very clingy, chip-chapa, like Fevicol. Put your hand and sticky, sticky. So our journey is from the desiring self, which is sticky, sticks to everything, to our true self. True self is something like non-sticky. It plans, but it doesn't stick. It has full of faith. The faith is just a second. So this is what we have to take care of. Now why to take care of the stickiness? Because if things do not turn the way I planned, I suffer. Haven't we suffered? You planned a holiday, beautiful vacation, you planned something, didn't turn out well, and we suffered. Oh my God. So this is where we become the cause of our own suffering. And this suffering can be kept at bay. We don't need to suffer in this way. So this is what has to be taken care of, the clinginess to things and plans and ideas. Okay, so we'll hear something about this. Good that you brought this up. Let us hear a teaching on this clinginess. I'm just putting it on, just a second. $6.50. Okay. आनंद रोने वाली क्या बात है बेटा? Okay, so there it is about our clingy mind.
So anyway, the point is that it's our desire, our sticky mind, which creates the problems. That the mind sticks to things. It's like Velcro. It has all these little hooks and catches onto everything. And it's very hard. And we think that this is the cause of our pleasure. And we don't understand it's actually the cause of suffering. If we cling. It doesn't mean that therefore we only have to suffer in order to be liberated. It's not like that. That's not what he's talking about. If things are good, then that's fine. But if they're not good, that's fine too. That's the point. When I first got ordained, back in the early 60s, then I went to Thailand. And I met this Thai princess. And so she took me to her summer home, which was, they had this private beach leading down with the, palm trees and silver sands. And I had this house, this beautiful polished teak house in the middle of a lotus pool and 3 servants. And I just got ordained. So I said to the princess, I don't feel comfortable about this. And she said, what? You didn't ask for it. It's come to you. It's not going to last forever. When things are nice, that's good. And when things are not nice, that's okay also. She's my teacher. She was.
So does that make clear for you, Ekta? Yeah. So, this is, I think all of us, can vouch for our experiences, through our experiences, that whenever we have tried to stick, we have suffered, haven't we? Sticking to anything, my recipe, it could be my recipe, it could be as simple as that. It could be my dress, my toy, and as we grow up, my rewards, my accomplishments, my roles and my responsibilities, sticking to my spouse, my sibling, my family, my enemy. So basic crux that we stick to is me, because we identify ourselves with this body. This is me, and everything associated with this is mine. And we have nations at war because of that. How stupid. How dare you cross my border? Imagine. So this individual stupidity that we are all a part of, this goes on to a global level. Imagine India, Pakistan at war, US, China, whatever, Russia, Ukraine. I want you. So this identification with the body, the identification with me, mine, my thoughts, my family, always wanting for that and wanting to harm others who are not for that. The basic ignorance that we live with. And it's not as simple as it appears. It really gets to a global level, leads to world wars. That complicated it gets. Millions are killed because of that. Imagine. So this is a very serious issue that we are discussing here. On one hand, recognizing that I am not my thoughts, I am not my feelings, I am not my body, I am this awareness that sees it all. And other word for this awareness can be consciousness. It doesn't matter the word that we use. I can see the thoughts come and go. I can see the feelings come and go. I can see the bodily sense perceptions come and go. So who am I? I am the seeing, the crux. Seeing never comes and goes. So in prayers and meditations by the mother, she again and again, I'm hoping in one of the days we can take up a few prayers. Again and again, she disidentifies from the surface consciousness and identifies with the true consciousness, this presence of awareness within us. So the practice that we did in the beginning, the 5-minute practice, bringing the awareness, bringing awareness to the breath. I am aware of the breathing. I am aware of the body. This is the practice of mindfulness, which is a step towards knowing our true nature, identifying with our true nature. We will continue to plan. As Ekta ji was sharing, we'll do all the plannings, right? But we will be conscious not to cling to it. Why would I be conscious not to cling to it? Because I know that I suffer. And I love myself now enough that I don't want to make myself suffer. And when we bring the mind to the here and now, the practice that we were doing, bringing the mind to the body, you realize, oh, okay, that plan has not worked. But look here in the now, so many Different conditions of happiness are there. I have a body, it's not ill, I'm not in the hospital, I can bring myself a cup of tea, I can serve people, so many things to be grateful for. So what am I crying about? So when we keep on this practice of bringing mind to the present moment, to the here and now, we see that there are so many other conditions of happiness that are possible. So I don't have to stick to that one condition that did not happen and I will make myself miserable because of that. So my marriage, for example, I planned for my marriage, something crashed, did not work out. So I have a body, functional body, I'm not limping, I'm totally alive, agile. How much to be grateful for? If that did not work out, it's okay. Let go of your stubbornness. Why we suffer basically, why we are not able to let go of stories, is that we are so in this clinginess. We are so stubborn that my happiness has to come only that way. And if that doesn't work, I will be miserable. Why? I love myself enough. This has to be reiterated, that I love myself enough and I'm not going to leave my side. So if that doesn't work, no matter. We have so many other things that we can do here. So much of good time. So like a very good friend, what do we do with a good friend? We are always by his side. If he's breaking, we will say, no matter, you are breaking, I am here to hold your hand. So just like that, I stay with myself in the here and now. And when I bring the mind to the here and now, I realize that so many other conditions of happiness are available in the here and now. I don't need to make myself miserable because of that thing that did not happen. Right? So we have to let go of this stubbornness to the plans, clinging to the plans. And this is where we begin the journey of moving away from the desiring self, the clingy self, because that is not who we truly are. We are not this sticky self. And if a life is lived as this stickiness, it will be a wasted life. This is what we have to wake up to. So the moment you are getting to become sticky, you notice stickiness in you, that, oh, I'm again clinging to my ideas of happiness. Become conscious of it. Notice it. Let it go. Drop. Bring the mind to the here and now. Okay, if it happens, happens. If it doesn't happen, I'm okay. So it brings a certain simplicity in life. It allows you to drop off the excessive baggage of happiness that we carry, wanting happiness our way. There is this story of a monk, a Buddhist monk, who was chased by a tiger. He was running, and then he's towards the end of the cliff. He's almost going to fall into a deep kind of a canyon, and he notices, while he's hanging on a branch, he notices a last cherry bush it was, and he notices last cherry, and he allows himself to relish the cherry. So in the other moment, he may just drop dead. But in that moment, when he was aware, present to the moment, there was a condition of happiness available, and he enjoyed that. Or he could have been completely worried, oh my God, tiger, how can I enjoy this cherry, for example, right? But he did not give in to that condition. Yeah. So Jasmine is sharing that how do you deal with loss of a loved one? Yeah. So I'm sure it resonates with most of us. We have all lost loved ones in our life by this time, the age that we are attending the workshop. And I think one thing which I can use to wake up myself with the loss of a loved one is that before the loss of my loved one, it's not that the loved ones were not being lost, but they were happening to other people. Have you seen that? No? That as long as a death does not happen in my family, deaths are happening everywhere. Every second people are dying, but it's not happening to me. So it doesn't trouble us much. But when the thunder strikes my home, I have a chance to wake up, because my pain is the link to the pain of the whole of the universe. Now I know what it feels when one loses a loved one. Earlier I had no clue. Yes, people are losing loved ones, but it's okay. People die. Now suddenly I have lost ground. I'm ripped apart. Now I know how it feels when one loses a loved one. So in two sense I see this. First, that this pain can be my connection to the pain of humanity. This makes me sensitive to the pain of others who are losing loved ones, which is a part and parcel of life, right? The other thing that dawns is impermanence. This is another word which is very important. Earlier we had disenchantment, knowing that the world cannot give me lasting happiness, disenchantment. The other word which is very important here is impermanence. Things are fleeting. There is no solid ground. And I get to know this only when I lose a loved one. So I can use this pain, I can use this ripping apart and shattering and breaking in order to be sensitive to the pain of others who lose loved ones. Now I know your pain. And this is a fact of life, isn't it? That there is no ground. For 20 years, that loved one stayed with me. In the 21st year, gone. Now, in those 20 years, at any instant, anything could happen, right? But because things were not happening, he was not going away, I held on to him as my solid ground. This is what we were talking of, the clinginess. So because it was not going away, what did I think? Oh, this will never go away, right? But here it went away, gone. So I think it's along with a deep amount of pain, which can wake us up to other people's pain, which must wake us up to other people's pain. This can be a very, very important lesson in impermanence. It's hard. The lesson is hard, but there are no easy lessons out there for each one of us. We are not here to learn our lessons easy way. No one has. That's why Sri Aurobindo talks of Aryan spirit. Now, Aryan spirit is not needed, warrior spirit is not needed when the challenges are very easy. 1 + 1, 2. Clapping for you. Lessons are hard. And they are hard because we cling, all of us cling. That's the journey from darkness to light. Clinginess is darkness. Clinginess is suffering. Knowing myself as desiring self is suffering. But becoming conscious of clinginess, becoming conscious of that I make everything my ground. Every fleeting thing I make my ground. Becoming conscious of this stickiness is liberation, is light. I don't have to do that. I have suffered enough. And in that we come to what mother says, that never, apart from the divine, I'll share the exact quote, apart from the divine, never ever make anyone your ground. That's what mother is sharing. And when we talk of the divine, we talk of infinity. When we talk of divine, we talk about groundlessness. So mother, in other words, is asking us to make impermanence our ground. Know that you have no ground. Because a friend who has been a friend for 50 odd years in your life, bestest friend you can ever have, not there anymore, or maybe betrayed. Now what will you do? Cry for another 50 years? Or know that this is how the things are supposed to be? And in that, it's liberating. It's not very disappointing actually. So disenchantment and reflections on impermanence, they may appear very disappointing, that, oh really, I have no ground, what do I do? But they are actually truly liberating, that I have no ground. Wow, no, I can't really trust anyone. Yeah. So Julie is sharing, when we are sensitive like a sponge, it is more difficult something to be ground. We have to aspire more and give everything to the divine. Yeah. Yes. Jasmine, you have anything to share?
Oh no, sorry, it was by mistake.
I'll just take a moment. So, basically knowing that I have nothing to hold on to. How does that make you feel? Just take this for a reflection. Just 2 minutes, reflect over it. There is nothing you can hold on to. No relationship, no insurance policy, nothing. There is nothing concrete that you can hold on to. Not your children, not even your ideas and opinions, because they also keep on changing. No book. Frightening. Stay with the fright in the body. So if there is discomfort that arises when you tell yourself there is nothing I can hold on to, just like Shamla ji shared, fright. Stay with the fright in the body. Feel it fully. Stay with it. Bring the mind home to the breath and stay with the physical raw sensation of the fright. You can go through it. There is nothing that is permanent that can be my solid ground. And in that, you can actually, on other hand, you can imagine yourself being in the lap of eternity. You are in the lap of eternity. You are being held by infinity. Yes, there is no ground. And groundlessness is your cradle. It's holding you. Divinity is holding you. So you can continue to fall as long as you want, and you will not hit a wall. There is no ground, there is no wall. It's all endless, timeless, and spaceless. And when Mother says, trust only in the divine, bank only upon the divine, this is what it means, that you are held in infinity. You will never hit your wall on your head on the wall. Keep falling. Keep falling. There is no ground. There is no one holding you. You are not held by any person. You are held in eternity. And people in your life, relationships in your life, they are as fleeting as a dewdrop. You can't hold on to them. And if you do, your grasp will make you suffer. So let it go. So when you are done, you can come back and we can share anything. If there are any reflections. Yes, Shamla ji?
Yeah. Actually, since long I was going through this phase, but at this particular moment, I'm truly alone. Like actually, my mother passed away 2 months back. So we used to be together, only my mother and myself. Kids are away, brothers are away. So after that, I have to stay in that entire big home alone, all alone, and with all the memories and everything. Okay. And because last 2 years, total I was with my mother, truly after her doing, because she was not well like that. So each and every moment was with her. So neither I can relieve of that past. And I know that, yeah, it has to come to an end because she was suffering and it is for her good. But at the same time, staying all alone during nights, it's not fear, but it's alone, loneliness. So these, all these, what do you call, emotions or feelings are going through. And even though I look at mother's picture, and want to sit. Okay, sometimes I used to feel that, okay, now I have entire time, I can sit on meditation, do whatever, lead to this path, everything. But I was not able to, because some sort of fear. That's what, again, it's not fear totally, not fear of ghost or alone, this thing, some sort of psychological loneliness. And then the only diversion for me was staying at TV. And at least for 3-4 weeks, I was just watching TV. What I'm watching, irrelevant. Whatever comes, I'll just put on it and I'll be listening to the sound and I'm just watching, staring at the TV. So actually this one, I have, I wanted to know such situation, how can I come out? Now, 2 weeks back, I came to my son's place, but I clearly know that I can't stay here for long, because I can't. I have to go back to my home. So that situation, how to handle? That's what I said, frightening. It's not fear, but at the same time frightening. So, and I think this is a good opportunity for me to lead to this path, but I'm unable to do so. I'm, as you said, that glittering things or sedativeness, just okay, sitting and watching TV is more easier for me, rather than struggling with my thoughts and with my all emotions and everything. So I don't know.
Yes, yes.
If you
No,
can help me out.
completely resonate.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So I was with my mother for the last few years, or as you were sharing. Okay, I'm with my mother. I am Shamala. I'm with my mother, tending to her, and my whole life is centered around my mother, caring about her, right? So now understand the process. What's happening is that since too much time is given and we are all living in ignorance, right? Living in our ignorance, not knowing who we truly are, when we involve ourselves in any of such activities where one person becomes the center of our world and attraction, it is very obvious that when the person goes away, I feel a sense of as if something has gone out of me. Now suddenly I'm feeling this emptiness out of nowhere. Why? Because you and your mother became like this. Now the one part is gone. Now you're feeling that, impression, as if there is an impression on wet cement. The cement is wet, tha, and now the shoe is gone, but the shoe stamp is there. So this is what we call the stickiness. Again, coming back to the stickiness of mind. So just make use of this experience in one way to understand that this is how our ignorant mind works. It sticks. Like wet cement, it sticks. It becomes habituated. Like what happens? I become habituated to cigarette. Now, if I want to de-addict myself, the moment I feel like having a cigarette, my hand will go, but I can't pick up. So it's the same path the hand is traveling, is trying to pick up the same groove that has been, formed by the habituated mind. But now I suddenly stop myself. No, I can't have cigarette, right? Now what will happen? I will have the withdrawal effect. In withdrawal effect, I will have the fright, as you said, frightening. Or I will have butterflies in my stomach that I want to go. That's the easy way. But I'm feeling some uneasiness in my tummy if I don't, right? Go through that uneasiness. And how do you go through that uneasiness? By staying with the body, not in the mind. So when the fright appears, when the loneliness appears, how do you meet loneliness? How do you stay with the loneliness? You tune in with the body. Okay, Shamla ji is sitting and the loneliness or fright or uneasiness is there. Now suddenly she feels like switching on the TV, right? So you become conscious. Oh, I'm feeling lonely again. I feel like switching on the TV, but let me face this. Okay, so you sit with yourself. Now you come back in the body and you feel uneasiness in the body. You feel certain something is not right, and you bring the mind to the breath, stick with the breath, and you are going to tell yourself, okay, I am going to stay with with the body for as long as this unease is there. I am not going to pick up the remote of the television. Just like you hold a crying baby. If the baby has come crying, what does the mother do? Holds her for as long as the baby wants. And then the baby is satisfied, she runs away, plays again. So just like that, how to meet these uncomfortable sensations, if you really want to meet them, because that's your golden opportunity, as you said. All these uneasiness coming up is your golden opportunity. Either you distract yourself or you use them to come back home to yourself. How do you use them to come back home to yourself? You tune in with the body. How does the fright sensation feel in the body? I am going to stay in the body. Cling to the breath. Mind is clinging to the breath. You can fast also. You can do the breathing fastly. There are techniques of doing the breathing fastly. Okay, pain is there, butterflies in the tummy are there. I am not leaving the breath. Right? And you are staying with the physical sensation. Now, in between, you will see that your mind will again go into the stories in the head. It will construct a story in the head. You will get distracted again. No problem. Bring it back to the breath. Again, you will see, oh, it's going back to the thoughts. No problem. Bring it back to the breath in the body. So in the body, with the breath, you meet whether it is anxiety, whether it is panic, whether it is loneliness, whether it is God knows, whatever, name it. You go with it in the body. With the breath, cling to the breath. So imagine that you are a rugby ball player. Rugby, in rugby you have a ball in your hand and you are running. You're running towards the other goal post. Other people are trying to stop you. They don't want you to reach the other post, right? So just like rugby in your hand, you have mind with your breath. You are saying, I am not leaving my body sensation. I am not leaving the breath. So the thoughts, the other people, around you, the thoughts are trying to distract you. Listen to me, but I am very juicy. I will promise you something. Oh, think about me. I will give you fulfillment. You are saying, I have done that enough. I am going to cling with my breath and I'm going to meet the loneliness in the body. And slowly what happens is, when you stay long enough with the sensation of loneliness in the body, it scatters as clouds scatter away in the sky. And the only thing that you are left with is a sense of awareness. You are just aware. You are just aware. The unease is gone. The unease has disappeared. And here is how you know the true nature of loneliness. What was the true nature of flight and loneliness? Emptiness or awareness. Because it came and it went. It came and it went. It came and it went. Right? But this cannot be just theory. This has to be your living experience. So practice and use all the opportunities that you get on the way. Every uneasy sensation, even happy sensations. What is the nature of these sensations? When you stay with the breath and tune in with the body, you see that, oh, they're fleeting. It comes and goes. Joy comes and goes. So what am I to be afraid of? Uneasiness, loneliness, fright. I stay with my breath. I stay with my body. It comes and goes. 1 hour I stayed with the physical sensation. Oh, it went. Now where it is? I can't find it. Where is the loneliness? I can't find it. So just like this, when we explore with the breath and the body, we realize that the true nature of fleeting phenomena is emptiness. There is nothing in there. So the monster that I am making so solid and real, oh, this is fright, oh, this is fear and loneliness, it's actually empty bubble. And the only thing you're left is with this presence of awareness. I am aware of the breath of the body. Simple, light. So this is one way in which you can go about it. And you are right when you say that it's a golden opportunity now with you. That anything that arises in the being, you can tune in with the body and the breath and use it to come back home to yourself. This is your true self. This sense of awareness is your true self. And that will be your inner guide. As Ekta ji was asking in the beginning, what is the direction that my life takes? This inner guide, the sense of awareness, will lead you towards whatever the direction the life has to take. So there will be a guidance. It's not that you will be just, like spaced out, empty. Not like that. You will be guided. But take it easy. Be patient with the practice. People have practiced 12 years in caves to stabilize in this sense of awareness. So one day practice, we can't just expect like, why am I not? The only thing is that you will be benefited. This I can promise, that if you practice bringing mind home to the body and the breath and not buying into all the mind games, you will be benefited in the way that your life will become simple, light. Isn't that what we want basically, ultimately? Right? That if I'm eating, I know that I'm eating, I'm enjoying the eating. If I'm walking, I'm aware of the walking. If I'm tending to somebody who has to be taken care of, I am there for the person. So wherever you are there. Wherever you are there. Things are taken care of. There is a better, higher intelligence that has a better plan than our limited plans. Yeah. So any last, we have a few minutes last left. Anything? So there is a little homework I have for each one of us. I'll be sharing it on the group, WhatsApp group. And it'll be nice if all of us can, those of us who resonate and would like to, can practice. And then next day we can, if we want, we can share about our practice and reflections, if we want to. Although one day of a practice is too little still, but if we want, we can share our reflections. So I'll just put up a few last notes for each one of us to look at it. Yeah. So look at these basic instructions. It's very simple. So there is this teacher, Deepa Ma, and she's sharing, choose one meditation practice, stick with it. So now the meditation practice that we decided for now, those of us who resonate, is bringing the mind to the breath, bringing the mind home to the body, and becoming conscious of my thoughts and feelings and sensations, not to too much get lost in it. And if I'm getting lost in it, I become aware, oh, getting lost, bring my mind again to the breath, to the body. Yeah? So if I get lost, no problem. Just become conscious that I get lost. Okay? Stay with one technique. Then second is meditate every day. Whether it is 2 minutes, 5 minutes, doesn't matter. 5 minutes is something which all of us have, definitely. So 5 minutes, I'm going to bring my mind again to the breath. I'm not going to buy into the stories. If I get lost, I bring my mind without judging. I bring my mind to the breath and the body. Simple, keeping it very, very simple. Practice now. Don't think you would do more later. Any situation is workable. So just like Shamala ji was sharing her situation, it's a difficult one, challenging one, but situations are workable. All situations are workable. Each of us has enormous power. It can be used to help ourselves and help others. Practice patience. Patience is one of the most important virtues. We will not go here. I think I wanted to share basically, because not to just load yourself too much with everything. Basically, choose one meditation practice, stick with it, meditate every day, even if it is 5 minutes, doesn't matter. And each situation is workable. No? And then one thing which I want to share is, yeah, this one. Simplify. Make things simple. A very simple life is good for everything. So if a cup breaks in front of me, okay, cup broke, let me clean it up. Not who kept the cup and why was there tea in the cup. I have cleaned so many cups before. Why is not everyone responsible? There is no end to that story. Right? So how do I keep things simple? Get to the work, basics. Cup broke, clean it up. You have enough time. If you don't have time, ask for help. So very basic instructions, and just wanted to share this because it touches my being. When it's so simple, instructions are so simple, why to make it so complicated? So let us, for this evening, as we begin the evening, for those of us who have evening and for those of us who have morning, let us keep bringing the mind home to the body, so that the body is not feeling abandoned, that where is my guard, and bringing the mind home to the breath again and again, keeping things simple, and trying to not to buy into the stories of the head. And why do I not buy into the stories of the head? Because I don't know really. Because the dots that are connecting in my head are not the truth. So having that humility to know that the dots that are connecting in my head about every past situation and future life and present happening, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. It's only a little window from which I see. That's not the truth. And that's why I don't need to buy into it. So let us, for until the next workshop, next session, we'll practice this, and I'll share a few homework, like 2 questions or reflections to do on the WhatsApp group with all of you, so we can practice. So yes, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much, Monica. Thank you very much for everyone for participating so beautifully in this workshop. Until tomorrow, then we meet 4 o'clock. Very practical session, Monica. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, James. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.